Bitcoin dropped 75, Ethereum dropped 85, Hex dropped 95. Which one do you think is going to get up the hardest?
Yeah, baby. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday midday Eastern stream. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. So we start this at 12 Eastern. That's going to be 5 p.m. for my friends, colleagues, and countrymen in Britain. So you just finished your Sunday dinner after a good day at church or a good session at church. Yeah, nah. So anyway, welcome, everyone. Welcome. My name is Dr. H. I am the Cryptopractor. And on this channel, apart from the learnings and principles and edutainment that we have today, normally I have simple crypto investing principles, simple crypto investing strategies for the new beginner, the blossoming neophyte, and the next generation OG. And with no further ado, let's dive straight in. You can see straight away my guarantee. Pretty obvious. Never financial advice, edutainment only. I try never to shill crypto coins, trading courses. I have no coin sponsors or affiliate links. All education provided with integrity and minimal external bias. Now, for transparency, I do study and hold mostly Hex, Pulse, and P-Hex. Excuse me, Pulse, Hex, P-Hex, E-Hex, and PLX. Right, okay, and PulseX. There we go. That's what it's called. Now, today's show, the Sunday show, is really, I am a principled cryptopractor. In other words, I believe very strongly in the idea that we should have freedom of expression of our value. We should be able to express it in any way we choose. So obviously, the fiat system controlled through the banks by the government, there's a third party involved, whether it's the government or some other third party is irrelevant. But there's always someone there taking a bit of the action. So that is why I first got involved in crypto, so that I can leave a legacy for my children. Not just a financial legacy, because finance is only one small part of the abundance formula, but also I want to leave an information education legacy. So obviously, in order for them to get a crypto, they're going to have to learn about it. So I don't expect them to learn now, but obviously this channel helps provide the information they need later on in their life to use crypto, to understand its value, and to move it around. And I thought, well, you guys are my YouTube family, and why not share it with you as well? We can have some fun together, learn some stuff together. Every time I do one of these shows, I learn a ton more. Okay. Right. So with no further ado, I'll get back to the right page and get going. Now, as I've mentioned many times before, crypto is not my main gig. My business is chiropractic. I'm an excellent expert in chiropractic. I will actually leave some resources so you guys can find your own chiropractors wherever you are in the world. I'll get around to that eventually. But the point is this. Crypto is not my main gig, but I have some phenomenal mentors that I've used over the last few years. I came from very humble beginnings. I'm doing really well now, and I did that using a lot of the principles that I'm going to share with you guys today. So I trust you enjoy it. If you have any feedback, in fact, just do this. Just hit that like. It'll take you half a second. Share it now. Share the stream before we get going. If you've got people on X or Twitter or Telegraph, wherever it might be, if you could share the stream, I'd super appreciate that. More importantly, for those of you that are into crypto, it's going to help pump your bags. It doesn't even matter if it's my crypto, because we know from Metcalfe's law, the more people that know about crypto, the more people that engage in crypto, then the less there'll be more value exchange in the crypto world rather than trying to do it in the fiat world. And if there's more value exchange, whether it's your crypto or not, you know, there are rails connecting all of the cryptos. So people can move from one to another as they see fit, you know, and as it makes an intelligent idea, or it makes sense for them to move around, then they're going to do that. Okay, right. So with no further ado, we are going to dive right in. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys, in the chat. Throw some comments in. I'm trying to navigate how to best do this. Okay. In terms of, okay. So, yeah, how's your Sunday going? Throw some comments in there. Yeah, throw a few likes around and share it. I didn't get a chance to share this on X. Oh, actually, I did very briefly. So if you could share that around, guys, that'd be awesome. Okay, so there are crypto principles that I'm really heavily into. There's financial principles that I was into long before I got involved in crypto, and I made all my money outside of crypto. I could have retired at 34. I'm now over 50. So I work because I love working. And yeah, it's the best thing ever. I would do it for free, except I do want some value exchange there. But anyway, here's the point. And that is not good business. You should never really do anything that adds value to people for free, because there needs to be an exchange. That is a natural law. Okay, and no further ado, let's dive into The Richest Man in Babylon. Here it is. It is not particularly high. Oh, can we get it? Okay, no. Okay, right. It's not particularly high tech, but it is. You can see that I pull my books apart. I have tabs. I suck the information out. That is the purpose of a book. One of my mentors 20 years ago taught me speed reading. And the whole idea is to pull information out of the book, not to have a whole rack of books behind me that look pretty for photographs and have never been touched. So this one is fallen apart, but I do have another copy. So that has never got another 3 copies. Okay, so this is chapter 2, The Richest Man in Babylon. Okay, if you just bear with me a second, I'm just going to sort out that tech. That background is pretty shocking. Okay. Okay, that's a little better. All right, okay, here we go. So, chapter 2 of The Richest Man in Babylon is confusingly called The Richest Man in Babylon. This is chapter 1. I read that previously. So if you guys just want to go to the channel, it's all there. It's all set up. I do want to set up a couple of chapter markers so you can see the beginning. It's about halfway through. So I think it's a 40-minute video. If you go to about 22 minutes, you'll see the start of the slides. Okay, so that was chapter 1. And there's a couple of, for those of you that are in the Richard Heart ecosystem, you may recognize these 2 characters. They stream to us pretty regularly. Put a note down in the comment if you know who they are, or if you suspect you know who they are. All right. Okay. And if you're watching this after the stream, I get a lot of people. I've noticed a lot of people coming in after the stream. Then do put a comment down below. I'll read them out the next few streams that I do. And if you have any comments, books, any particular thing that resonates in The Richest Man in Babylon, do make the point and I'll get back to you. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. Can you recognize who that is? I'll give you a little close-up. So this is chapter 2. In old Babylon, there once lived a certain very rich man named Arkad. Far and wide, he was famed for his great wealth. Also, was he famed for his liberality. He was generous in his charities. He was generous with his family. He was liberal in his own expenses. But nevertheless, each year his wealth increased more rapidly than he spent it. And there were certain friends of younger days who came to him and said, "You, Arkad, are more fortunate than we. You have become the richest man in all Babylon while we struggle for existence. You can wear the finest garments and you can enjoy the rarest food while we must be content if we can clothe our families in raiment that is presentable and feed them as best we can. Yet, once we were equal, we studied under the same master. We played the same games. And in neither the studies nor the games did you outshine us. And in the years since, you have been no more an honorable citizen than we. Nor have you worked harder or more faithfully insofar as we can judge. Why then should a fickle fate single you out to enjoy all the good things of life and ignore us who are equally deserving?" Thereupon Arkad remonstrated them, saying, "If you had not acquired more than a bare existence in the year since we were youths, it is because you have either failed to learn the laws that govern the building of wealth, or else you do not observe them. Fickle fate is a vicious goddess who brings no permanent good to anyone. On the contrary, she brings ruin to almost every man upon whom she showers unearned gold. She makes wanton spenders who soon dissipate." Oh, She makes wanton spenders who soon dissipate all they receive and are left beset by overwhelming appetites and desires they have not the ability to gratify. Yet others whom she favors become misers and hoard their wealth, fearing to spend what they have, knowing they do not possess the ability to maintain it or replace it. They further are beset by fear of robbers and doom themselves to lives of emptiness and secret misery. Others there probably are who can take unearned gold and add to it and continue to be happy and contented citizens. But so few are thee, I know of them but by hearsay. Think you of the men who have inherited sudden wealth, and see if these things are not so. His friends admitted that of the men they knew who had inherited wealth, these words were true, and they besought him to explain to them how he had been possessed of so much prosperity. So he continued with a pause. In my youth, I looked about me and saw all the good things there were to bring happiness and contentment. And I realized that wealth increased the potency of all these. Wealth is a power. With wealth, many things are possible. One may ornament the home with the richest of furnishings. One may sail the distant seas. One may feast on the delicacies of far lands. One may buy the ornaments of the gold worker and the stone polisher. One may even build mighty temples for the gods. One may do all of these things and many others in which there is delight for the senses and gratification for the soul. And when I realized all this, I decided to myself that I would claim my share of the good things of life. I would not be one of those who stand afar off, enviously watching others enjoy. I would not be content to clothe myself in the cheapest raiment that looked respectable. I would not be satisfied with the lot of a poor man. On the contrary, I would make myself a guest at his banquet of good things. Being, as you know, the son of a humble merchant, one of a large family with no hope of an inheritance, and not being endowed, as you have so frankly said, with superior powers or wisdom, I decided that if I was to achieve what I desired, time and study would be required. As for time, all men have it in abundance. Each of you have let slip by sufficient time to have made yourself wealthy. Yet you admit you have nothing to show except your good families, of which you can be justly proud. As for study, did not our wise teacher teach us that learning was of two kinds? The one kind being the things we learned and knew, and the other being the training that taught us how to find out what we did not know. Therefore did I decide to find out how one might accumulate wealth, and when I had found out, to make this my task and do it well. For it is not wise that we should enjoy while we dwell in the brightness of the sunshine, for sorrows enough shall descend upon us when we depart for the darkness of the world of spirit. I found employment as a scribe in the Hall of Records. Boop. And long hours each day I labored upon the clay tablets. Week after week and month after month I labored. Yet for my earnings I had naught to show. Food and clothing and penance to the gods and other things of which I could remember not absorbed all my earnings. But my determination did not leave me. One day, Algamash, the moneylender, came to the house of the city master and ordered a copy of the 9th law and said to me, I must have this in 2 days, and if the task is done by that time, 2 coppers I will give to thee. So I labored hard, but the law was long. And when Algamash returned, the task was unfinished. He was angry, and had I been a slave, he would have beaten me. But knowing the city master would not permit him to injure me, I was unafraid. So I said to him, Algamash, you are a very rich man. Tell me how I may become rich, and all night I will carve upon the clay, and when the sun rises, it shall be completed. He smiled at me and replied, You are a forward knave, but I will call it a bargain. That night I carved, though my back pained and the smell of the wick made my head ache until my eyes could hardly see. But when he returned at sunup, the tablet was complete. Now, I said, tell me what you promised. You have fulfilled your part of the bargain, my son, he said to me kindly. and I'm ready to fulfill mine. I will tell you these things you wish to know because I am becoming an old man, and an old tongue loves to wag. And when youth comes to age for advice, he receives the wisdom of the years. But too often does youth think that age knows only the wisdom of days that are gone, and therefore profits not. But remember this, the sun that shines today is the sun that shone when thy father was born, and will still be shining when thy last grandchild shall pass into the darkness. The thoughts of youth, he continued, are bright lights that shine forth like the meteors that oft make brilliant the sky. But the wisdom of age is like the fixed star that shines so unchanged the sailor may depend upon them to steer his course. Mark you well my words, for if you do not, you will fail to grasp the truth that I will tell you, and you will think your night's work has been in vain. Then he looked at me shrewdly from under his shaggy brows and said in a low, forceful tone, I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep. And so will you. Then he continued to look at me with a glance that I could feel pierce me, but said no more. Is that all? I asked. That was sufficient to change the heart of a sheep herder into the heart of a moneylender, he replied. But all I earn is mine to keep, is it not? I demanded. Far from it, he replied. Do you not pay the garment maker? Do you not pay the sandal maker? Do you not pay for the things you eat? Can you live in Babylon without spending? What have you to show for your earnings of the past month? What for the past year? Fool! You pay to everyone but yourself. Dullard, you labor for others. As well be a slave and work for what your master gives you to eat and wear. If you did keep for yourself 1/10 of all you earn, how much would you have in 10 years? My knowledge of numbers did not forsake me, and I answered, as much as I earn in 1 year. You but speak half the truth, he retorted. Every gold piece you save is a slave to work for you. Every copper it earns is its child that also can earn for you. If you would become wealthy, then what you save must earn, and its children must earn, that all may help to give to you the abundance you crave. You think I cheat you for your long night's work, he continued, but I am paying you 1,000 times over if you have the intelligence to grasp the truth I offer. A part of all your earnings is yours to keep. It should be not less than 1/10, but no matter how little you earn, it can be as much more as you can afford. Pay yourself first. Do not buy from the clothes maker and the sandal maker more than you can pay out of the rest and still have enough for food and charity and the penance of the gods. Wealth is like a tree. It grows from a tiny seed. The first coppers you save is the seed from which your tree of wealth shall grow. The sooner you plant that seed, the sooner that tree shall grow. And the more faithfully you nourish and water that tree with consistent savings, the sooner may you bask in its contentment beneath its shade. So saying, he took his tablets and went away. I thought much about what he had said to me, and it seemed reasonable. So I decided that I would try it. Each time I was paid, I took one from each 10 pieces of copper and hid it away. And strange as it may seem, I was no shorter of funds than before. I noticed little difference as I managed to get along without it. But often I was tempted, as my hoard began to grow, to spend it for some of the good things the merchants displayed, brought by camels and shipments from the lands of the Phoenicians. But I wisely refrained. A 12th month after Algamash had gone, he again returned and said to me, Son, have you paid to yourself not less than 1/10 of all you have earned in the past year? I answered proudly, Yes, master, I have. That is good, he answered, beaming upon me. And what have you done with it? I have given it to Asmo, the brickmaker, who told me he was traveling over the far seas in Tyre. He would buy for me the rare jewels of the Phoenicians. When he returns, we shall sell these at high prices and divide the earnings. Every fool must learn, he growled. But why trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels? Would you go to the bread maker to inquire about the stars? No, by my tunic, you would go to the astrologer if you had power to think. Your savings are gone, youth. You have jerked your wealth tree up by the roots. But plant another. Try again. And next time, if you would have advice about jewels, go to the jewel merchant. If you know the truth about sheep, go to the herdsman. Advice is one thing that is freely given away, but watch that you take only that which is worth having. He who takes advice about his savings from one who is inexperienced in such matters shall pay with his savings for proving the falsity of their opinions. Saying this, he went away. So I'd just like to pause there and just big shout out there to our chat. Throw out some comments there, fellas and fellesses, chaps and chapesses. And a big shout out to those of you that have come back for the replay. Hope you're enjoying it. Put some comments down below. I will circle back around and say hey. And if you've got some constructive comments or if you've got some requests, I'll throw them out the next time. Okay. And this is chapter 2 of The Richest Man in Babylon. If you guys want to circle back, go to chapter 1. That's already done. And there's even a piece on the author of this book, George S. Clason. And it was, as he said, for the Phoenicians are scoundrels and sold to Asmo worthless bits of glass that look like gems. But as Almagash had bid me, I again saved every 10th copper, for it now had formed the habit. I had now formed the habit, and it was no longer difficult. Again, 12 months later, Algamash came to the room of the scribes and addressed me. What progress have you made since I last saw you? I've paid myself faithfully, I replied, and my savings I've entrusted to Aga, the shield maker, to buy bronze, and each 4th month he does pay me the rental. That is good. And what do you do with the rental? I do have a great feast with honey and fine wine and spice cakes. Also, I have bought me a scarlet tunic, and someday I shall buy me a young ass. Steady. Upon which to ride. To which Algamash laughed. You do eat the children of your savings. Then how do you expect them to work for you? And how can they have children that will also work for you? First, get thee an army of golden slaves, and then many a rich banquet you may enjoy without regret. So saying, he again went away. Nor did I again see him for 2 years, when he once more returned, with his face full of deep lines and his eyes drooped, for he was becoming a very old man. And he said to me, Arkad, hast thou yet achieved the wealth I dreamed of? And I answered, not yet all that I desire, but some I have, and it earns more, and its earnings earn more. And do you still take the advice of brick makers? About brick making, they give very good advice, I retorted. Arkad, he continued, you have learned your lessons well. You first learned to live upon less than you could earn. Next, you learned to seek advice from those who are competent through their own experience to give it. And lastly, you have learned to make gold work for you. You have taught yourself how to acquire money, how to keep it, and how to use it. Therefore, you are competent for a responsible position. I'm becoming an old man. My sons think only of spending and giving no thought to earning. My interests are great, and I fear too much for me to look after. If you will go to Nippur and look after my lands there, I shall make you my partner, and you shall share in my estate. So I went to Nippur and took charge of his holdings, which were large, and because I was full of ambition, and because I had mastered the 3 laws of successfully handling wealth, I was able to increase greatly the value of his properties. So I prospered much, and when the spirit of Algamash departed for the sphere of darkness, I did share in his estate, and as he had arranged under the law. So spake Arkad, and when he had finished his tale, one of his friends said, you are indeed fortunate that Algamash made you an heir. Fortune only in that I had the desire to prosper before I met him. For 4 years did I not prove my definiteness of purpose by keeping 1/10 of all I earned? Would you call a fisherman lucky who for years so studied the habits of the fish that without each changing wind he could cast his nets about them? Opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time with those who are unprepared. You had strong willpower to keep on after you lost your first year's savings. You're unusual in that way, spoke up another. Willpower? Retorted Arkad. What nonsense. Do you think willpower gives the man the strength to lift a burden that the camel cannot carry? Or to draw a load the oxen cannot budge? Well, willpower is but the unflinching purpose to carry a task you set for yourself to fulfillment. If I set for myself a task, be it ever so trifling, I shall see it through. How else shall I be confident in myself to do more important things? Should I say to myself, for 100 days I will walk across the bridge into the city and I will pick from the road a pebble and cast it into the stream? I would do it. If on the 7th day I passed it without remembering, I would not say to myself, tomorrow I'll cast 2 pebbles, which will do as well. Instead, I would retrace my steps and cast the pebble. Nor on the 20th day would I say to myself, Arkad, this is useless. What does it avail you to cast a pebble every day? Throw in a handful and be done with it. No, I would not say that, nor do it. When I set a task for myself, I complete it. Therefore, I am careful not to start difficult and impractical tasks because I love leisure. And then another friend spoke up and said, if what you say is true, and it does seem, as you have said, reasonable, then being so simple, if all men did it, there would not be enough wealth to go around. Wealth grows wherever men exert energy, Arkad replied. If a rich man builds him a new palace, is the gold he pays out now gone? No, the brickmaker has part of it, and the laborer has part of it, and the artist has part of it, and everyone who labors upon the house has part of it. Yet when the palace is complete, is it not worth all it costs? And is the ground upon which it stands not worth more because it's there? And is the ground that adjoins it not worth more because it is there? Wealth grows in magic ways. No man can prophesy the limit of it. Have not the Phoenicians built great cities on barren coasts with the wealth that comes from the ships of commerce on the seas? What do you advise us to do that we also may become rich? Still asked one another of his friends. The years have passed and we are no longer young men, and we have nothing put by. I advise that you take the wisdom of Algamash and say to yourself, as part of all I earn is mine to keep. Say it in the morning when you first arise, say it in noon, say it at night. Say it to yourself until the words stand out like letters of fire across the sky. Impress yourself with the idea, fill yourself with the thought, then take whatever portion seems wise. Let it be not less than 1/10 and lay it by. Arrange your other expenditures to do this if necessary, but lay by that first portion first. Soon you will realize what a rich feeling it is to own a treasure upon which you alone have a claim. As it grows, it will stimulate you. A new joy of life will thrill you. Greater efforts will come to you to earn more. For your increased earnings, will not the same percentage be also yours to keep? Then learn to make your treasure work for you. Make it your slave. Make its children and its children's children work for you. Ensure an income for thy future. Look thou at the aged and not forget that the days to come thou also will be numbered among them. Therefore invest thy treasure with greatest caution that it be not lost. Usurious rates of return are deceitful sirens that sing but to lure the unwary upon the rocks of loss and remorse. Provide also that thy family may not want should the gods call thee to thy realms. For such protection is always possible to make provision with small payments at regular intervals. Therefore, the provident man delays not in expectation of a large sum becoming available for such a wise purpose. Counsel with wise men, seek the advice of men whose daily work is handling money. Let them save you from such an error as I myself made in entrusting my money to the judgment Asma the brickmaker. A small return and a safe house is far more desirable than risk. Enjoy life while you're here. Do not overstrain or try to save too much. Do not overstrain or try to save too much. If 1/10 of all you earn is as much as you can comfortably keep, be content to keep this portion. Live otherwise accordingly to your income, and let not yourself get niggardly and afraid to spend. Life is good and life is rich with things worthwhile and things to enjoy. His friends thanked him and went away. Some were silent because they had no imagination and could not understand. Some were sarcastic because they thought that one so rich should divide with old friends not so fortunate. But some had in their eyes a new light. They realized that Algamash had come back each time to the room of the scribes because he was watching a man work his way out of darkness into light. When that man had found the light, a place awaited him. No one could fill that place until he had for himself worked out his own understanding, until he was ready for opportunity. These latter ones were the ones who in the following years frequently revisited Arkad, who received them gladly. He counseled with them and gave them freely of his wisdom, as men of broad experience are always glad to do. And he assisted them in so investing their savings that would bring in a good interest with safety and would neither be lost nor entangled in investments that paid no dividends. The turning point in these men's lives came upon the day when they realized the truth that had come from Algamash to Arkad and from Arkad to them. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. And here endeth the second chapter, guys. The third chapter, next Friday, we'll be going through the 7 cures for a lean purse. So 7 cures for a lean purse. In the meantime, if you want to subscribe, then if I have any discussion groups or any other points related to The Richest Man in Babylon or books that are coming up that we're going to be working with, then do subscribe and then you'll get notification. Obviously, ding the notification bell to all, and you should get notification of that. And now I have no sponsors as such, but today's chapter is, and if I can get this to you, share screen, is brought to you by GoRealDefi.com. Now, GoRealDefi is the place to go as far as decentralized applications for using on the Pulse chain system. You've got the staking mechanism for Hex, bridging from Ethereum into Pulse chain, Launchpad. You got the classic ETH, that's the Ethereum trawler, the Ethereum, oh man, I forgot the word. The one that looks at all the blockchain crawler. You have Pulse X Exchange, which I use a ton, and you've got the Pulse Chain Explorer as well. So today's show was not, I repeat, not sponsored by GoRealDefi.com, which is set up by RH Max, and great work he does. And of interest on the right, as well as the decentralized softwares, you've also got information sites for all those different things. I've used a lot of them. It tells you about the founder, projects, faucets, means, NFTs, all that sort of good stuff. Okay, guys, and on that note, have a fabulous, fabulous Sunday. I'm just going to circle back to the chat, see who's out there. Yeah, a little bit quiet there today, guys. If you want to put any comments up in the comments after the event, I will come back, circle back around and see how things are going. All right. And on that note, I hope you all have a fantastic Sunday. Dr. H out.